Surcos estamos convencidos que a través de la innovación podemos mejorar considerablemente la sustentabilidad de la agricultura. Es por eso que hace más de 10 años que somos pioneros en la incorporación de nanotecnología en fitosanitarios, duplicando de esta manera la eficacia de los activos y permitiendo disminuir a la mitad el impacto ambiental de los tratamientos.
En Acronex nacimos en el campo, trabajamos junto a los productores, por eso sabemos que para tomar las mejores decisiones tenés que estar en cada detalle. Por eso desarrollamos Unimap, un sistema de monitoreo y geolocalización en tiempo real que facilita la toma de decisiones a partir de datos concretos, transformando la información en conocimiento.
Good morning. I'd like to make a brief introduction. There is a theme today, which is bioeconomy. And today we will start with several lectures and presentations. The first one will deal with the global framework. After that, there will be a lecture on the current scenario in Argentina, 2 more lectures in the afternoon. One about the scenario in Argentina, the second one about the scenario in the regions. Later on, there will be a lecture on the scenario of the wine industry. And tomorrow, there will be a lecture on the circular economy and a final closing lecture. Bioeconomics goes beyond this, but we will be dealing with several sub-themes under this theme. Some introductory words. Globally, bioeconomics or bioeconomy in the last 5 years has grown significantly, and this is related to the challenges posed by climate change and the need to change and to move from fossil economy to a biology-based economy. And that strategy has been trickling down in most of the countries. Today, the main countries in the world already have bioeconomy strategies. We have the European Union, where strategies have been amended several times. The US has just rebranded theirs, and as many funds are invested in bioeconomics, well, we can see changes. We can see things happening in China, in East Africa, Latin America, several countries, and Eduardo Trigo will talk about some cases in Latin America. And usually, Eduardo and myself are members of a group made up by 40 experts from all over the world. We meet every 2 to 3 years to look at the evolution and changes in bioeconomy, and we realize that there is an increasing number of breakthroughs, both in the area of strategies, policies, and in the private sector's actions. An important driver here is that bioeconomy is making progress with a bottom-up approach. He corrects himself, not only with the top-down approach, but also with the bottom-up approach, because of the global challenges we face. That is, we have to face to move from a fossil fuels-based economy to a biology-based economy. In Argentina, and the speakers will deal with this, the challenge is, well, it's not only a challenge, but also a huge opportunity. For 80 years, Argentina has been developing a strategy based on fossil fuels, which is not competitive globally, and the bioeconomy offers the chance to rebrand or amend our development strategy. So bioeconomy doesn't only mean how do we tackle climate change, but also how do we tackle this growth opportunity. And this is one of the huge challenges, and that's why we all should try and find out how to develop a development model including inland Argentina and Argentina as a whole with a more competitive exporting strategy. And this is what we will deal with in the second part of this morning's session. In this first part of today's session, we'll have a presentation by Johan Duhern. He's a researcher at Bonn University. At Bonn University, one of the leaders is Professor von Braun, who has been Patterman and von Braun are the two leaders, or the two people who have done the most for bioeconomy worldwide, and they still play a key role. Von Braun and Patterman, and I met them in Hanover last month actually. So Mr. Dieu works at that university. He has also been working in Brazil and Guatemala, working on agricultural value change, and starting in 2016, he began to work at Bonn University, as I have already said, an important university in the area of bioeconomy. Eduardo Trigo, I believe everybody knows him because he's the mentor of bioeconomy in Argentina. Eduardo and myself have been working together for at least 10 years, actually 20 years, promoting bioeconomy with limited success, but this is becoming an increasingly important theme. Eduardo has a wide track record, many university degrees, a master's degree from the US. He has been the head of several international agencies. He's a consultant currently to the ICA General Secretariat in Costa Rica, and we have been working together with Roberto and Eduardo trying to publish papers to explain what bioeconomy is and where it is heading to worldwide and in Argentina or in our region. So, having said this, without further ado, we invite Johan to take the floor.
Gracias, Marcelo.
Thank you, Marcelo. Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to this meeting. I feel honored to be here with you today and to have the chance to talk about trends, global trends in bioeconomy. I don't have as much knowledge as my superior, Mr. von Braun, but I will try to share some information with you. So, though you already know a lot about the subject matter, I believe this is a good time to define what we are talking about when we talk about bioeconomy. So I will share some examples with you, which are not that well known, but very interesting anyway. After that, we'll talk about trends in public policies. Marcelo has already mentioned this, what is being done in the R&D field. I will also talk about carbon, which is the theme of this Congress. Finally, we'll talk about the challenges, and well, I will wrap up with some preliminary conclusions. So, let's start by the definition. What is bioeconomy? According to the Bioeconomy Summit, is the production, use, conservation of biological resources, including knowledge, science, technology, and innovation, products, processes, and services in all sectors in order to move towards a sustainable economy. So bioeconomy is not a vertical sector. It includes all sectors, all verticals, and it has to be sustainable. Otherwise, it won't meet the definition of bioeconomy. Now, why is the bioeconomy trendy? Well, in the EU, there are 5 main goals to be achieved. Number 1, food security, of proper sustainable management of natural resources, reducing the dependency on fossil resources, adaptation and mitigation of climate change, and an economic goal that is creating jobs land development, competitiveness. How do we achieve what we want to achieve? In order to do this, we have to innovate at 3 different levels. It's not only technology. We should also innovate at the institutional level, organizational level, and in the social arena. It's important to realize that we are not talking just about technology. Here, this is a nice slide by Cepal, and you can see the concept. And we have the 3 elements we have mentioned: biological resources coming from agriculture, cattle breeding, forestry, but also waste, residues, biodiversity, some biological principles and processes, photosynthesis, fermentation, biochemical processes, and we have the knowledge under the theme of science and technology, basic sciences, and going up to ITCs. And many industries and many sectors may use these elements to produce many products: food, bioenergy, bio inputs for agriculture, etc. So you are aware of this, but I believe this is a good summary, a snapshot of the whole concept. So there are 4 main paths to bring about this transformation towards a sustainable bioeconomy. Substitution of fossil resources. We also have to increase efficiency in primary production to produce more biomass. We have to innovate with new processes and products that are more environmentally friendly, and we have to use biological principles whereby with a limited volume we may produce a high value. So there are different visions here, but we may pinpoint 3 ideal visions: the biotechnological one, the one based on biomass, and the one focusing on bioecology. They are not mutually excluding, but they complement each other. But there are different visions about what we want to achieve through or with bioeconomy. Another important aspect is this one. In bioeconomy, the value chains, the traditional ones, which are more linear, going from inputs to the consumer's hands, in bioeconomy, these chains get more complex. They become networks, and several sectors work together, exchange elements. Bioeconomy is more circular. So waste is used, there is recycling of waste, so everything becomes a value chain. A value network using all available resources. The role of farmers changes with bioeconomy. They are not just producers of biomass, they may become buyers. They become consumers of feedstock, for example, if they use biofuels for their machinery, and they may also become recyclers. They use the waste to fertilize, so their role becomes wider. And all this, as Marcelo has already said, is related to global changes This is related to fossil fuels availability, their prices, consumer preferences who are increasingly asking for sustainable goods and services, the breakthroughs in science, and the concern about sustainability. And the question is, what is the internal response supplied by science organizations such as APRESID and by national and international policies, and also of the commercial sector? How do all these players respond to the new changes? The winners of the Renewable Material of the Year contest. Here we have 3 examples. Banana peels and nutshells are used to manufacture some goods. This is an oil where CO2 is used. And these are other products made with polymers different from plastic, polymers that don't include plastics. In the case of agriculture, plastic is also an issue, microplastic in agriculture, and here there are several solutions for the bales and on the right, we can see elements for the slow release of substances. We can see it also in these films used to cover the seeds. And these kinds of mulch that can be used in order to do away with microplastics. This is a report by ICA that shows that the orange juice industry, with over 20 million tons of residues in Mexico, 25,000 tons of avocado stones every month, soya bean, over 1 kilogram of soya bean becomes waste. Here we have stubble. In Chile, you can see several examples which ICA has analyzed, and all these elements may be used to produce or manufacture different products, giving value to this waste of human food. These may be used for animal feed, to produce industrial elements, bactericides, polymers, and of course energy and biofertilizers. So the waste becomes a source of new products, become inputs for new products. Now the strategies, let's have a look at the trends. As Marcelo has said, there are many countries in the world that already have domestic policies and strategies.
Basically in Europe, but in other countries as well. These strategies are different depending on the technological capacity and natural resources and comparative advantage. Here we see what would be the outlook for Africa. They have prospects for bioenergy. In Latin America, we have more high technology. Here we have holistic efforts, regional strategies for Argentina, for example. In Asia, it is closely related to high technology, research and development. In Europe, we can clearly understand that bioeconomic has a holistic approach, less in bioenergy and high technology. However, the measures included in these strategies are similar. First, promote innovation, infrastructure, marketing, demand, good governance, and international cooperation. Talking about research, here we see the publications as of 2013. They exploded. With environmental sciences, but also in energy, engineering, social science. There is a huge effort in the academic community to review or analyze the economy from different point of view, although agronomy or agronomic sciences is not so present here. They are included, but not as much as other sciences. And main trends that we can see probably in research and development in the past years, one is the biotechnological advance through an international collaboration. This also resulted in the creation of startups, small companies that use these technologies. Second, new processes with new raw material that give the possibility to create a wide range of new products. And third, we see that bioeconomy is far more circular, so the carbon base increases. It's not only biomass, this also includes waste and CO2. And this is thanks to new processes and technologies. And talking about carbon, I wanted to show you carbon globally. The supply clearly comes from agriculture, but also from grasses, crops, flowers, and also from waste, but not that much. The demand, 60% of demand goes for animal feed, the rest for food, bioenergy, material, and biofuels, a very small share so far. And we see the flows for carbon demand that comes from biomass, goes for food and feed. Fossil go to energy and fuel. Material, half and half for the time being, and recycling is very little, only 1 and 2%. Today, carbon is the supply of carbon is through recycling. Today, what the intention here is to decarbonize and increase here as well as in recycling. We need to increase this share for recycling. This is the scenario for 2050. There is a need to decarbonize clearly to meet the Paris Agreement targets in energy and transport. Strongly here, but biomass won't be enough. They say that half of this needs to come from CO2, from carbon or CO2 sequestration. But in chemical materials, you cannot decarbonize because the chemical materials include CO2 or include carbon. So here we will have an increased demand. We need to increase the biomass production, but we need to increase also recycling and the CO2 capturing, not only biomass. Also, we need to consider other carbon sources. Challenges. The slide shows the economic importance in the past decade in the European Union. The turnover to 2.4 trillion euros. Most of it it's in food industry and agriculture. This is the traditional economy we always have known of. Here we have bioenergy, biofuel didn't grow that much, so we can't see the strong change that we expected. We need to consider which are the causes. First, we have this conflict between the use of biomass, food, feed, and the other two uses. This resulted in a very strong controversy in Europe and US using corn for energy. People didn't want that. So biomass availability is a huge challenge. We wanted to use sunflower oil as SAF. We would need 60% of the arable land in the European Union. That's not viable. So we need to consider the renewable carbon using biomass, but also CO2 and recycling. Another problem you are well aware of is the direct and indirect changes in the use of land. This has an impact on biodiversity. This also resulted in a controversy. So the question is what to do. Would we add more regulation and bannings? The European Union does not want to import more products other than deforestation-free products. And so the situation is that there is regulation in the market, but the problem in the market is that there's not a deployment of the bioeconomic or development of bioeconomic products. There's no availability. The fossil resources still are cheap. So we need to think of that. And also there's the problem that consumers don't know the products. We need to raise awareness among consumers and the companies. They need to know which are the benefits of bioproducts. Acknowledgement or recognition and support, this is still a problem. This fact of investment and financing, many companies don't have any problems to get funding, and the political support is not constant and it's not strategic. So we need to discuss more how to strengthen bioeconomy. Institutional problems, the relationship between sectors, the cooperation among different organizations is very weak still. So we need to reinforce this as well. We need to improve this. The hard measures could have a huge impact. Measures such as taxes, but they are not feasible. That's not very feasible politically. Soft measures are possible, but this does not have much impact. So this is our dilemma. So the example in Germany, bioeconomy, Is it a flop? Is it a failure? We investment more than 1 billion in euros in research and development. We have 3 national strategies since 2010, but not many things changes. A little bit in electricity with biogas, but in the other sectors there have been no changes, and the biogenic base even was reduced. But why? We need to ask ourselves why. So we conclude that there are many possibilities at different levels. Bioeconomy is quite diverse, and we need to exchange more, to share more. This is a good day to do this. At the global level, this will be very beneficial to face the challenges and to have a higher impact. We need to build more bridges in the different disciplines where we need cooperation among stakeholders. We need to increase and improve the information systems, monitoring and communication, and clearly we need political support for the long term, and we need more innovation, and this innovation has to be applied. But also we need social and institutional innovation. This is also very important. Thank you very much.
Yes, Jochen.
Thank you very much, Jochen. Eduardo? Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much to the organizers for this invitation to share with you some ideas following Jochen's presentation about the global context. I would like to talk about where we are standing in Latin America in general, with some specific references in Argentina, because we have a specific panel on Argentina after this one. But just to relate these two presentations and to summarize, bioeconomy deals with biological resources and knowledge. This is the summary. Biological resources and knowledge to face current challenges. And in some aspects, our region is quite well regarding this. Regarding resources, 8 of the 15 mega-diverse countries are in this region. 23% of global forest coverage is in this region. 28% of land, arable land that have not been used are here, and also we have 1/3 of the available water. And all of these aspects of resources are very important because they are central for environmental balance. Not only environmental balance, but also for the food balance, for environmental sustainability, food security, and environmental security. The region is the main carbon sink in the planet, and it is forest coverage, definitely. And if we think about the closing of gaps in agriculture, the future of carbon management in the planet is closely related to the strategies in this region to try to bridge the gaps that already exist in agriculture. This is quite a significant gap if we compare this with a global situation. And on the side of knowledge, this has a reasonable scientific base. There's little investment, definitely much less of what should be expected. Germany invests 1 billion. This region is far from investing that as a region. If we take the general investment, probably there's much more investment, but this region invests 10 times less of what Israel invests in as a percentage of the GDP, and much less of the OECD countries. But in spite of that, it has important platforms on which it can build from the technological point of view. This is important if we make the decision to have strategies that include those concepts as a priority. This is not happening only in some exceptions. I want to mention that the corporate capacity and the market routines required are present here. So we have all the elements for the leap to bioeconomy to occur. We have platforms that can give us access to that knowledge. So we have to bring together resources and knowledge. We have to make a blend with that, and we have to put that in the market so we can have innovation. But that is not easily available. It is available in some individual countries. In the southern part of the region is a tangible example, and we are here in a place that sets the example that tells us that that transition is possible if we focus on that new model. The importance of the model is there. The potential is there. In order to meet the ODS or the objectives of the Paris Agreement, we need to consider the economy from a different point of view. We have to think of a global economy. We need a different view that allows us paths that lead to these objectives. We are far below where we should be in our way towards meeting these objectives. The region has been evolving since responding to the incentives of these times, and it has been evolving towards bioeconomy. Bioenergy started after the crude oil crisis in 1973, and they spread all over. Biotechnology, this region has been an early adopter of biotechnologies that can be applied to biomass, that are a central component of bioeconomy, and the carbon efficient strategies that are the future. I'm not saying that they are here, but we have started to introduce them, and we will see in each individual case where we are standing. Bioenergy. We are the leading region of the developing world in the production of bioenergy, both bioethanol and biodiesel. And not only soybean, sugarcane, and corn, but there is a variety of different crops, temperate crops and tropical crops. Most of the regional crops are used to produce bioenergy, both tropical and temperate crops. And this region is leader in exports. And the importance of bioenergy is the impact that they have, because it becomes a platform to develop for new developments downstream. I'm talking about the green chemistry and the development of other products that are related to bioeconomy development. But this also has to do with having regulatory and promotion frameworks that start to evolve towards this new markets. There is a third vignette here, but I know what it is.
Biotecnología.
But we have seen the biggest impact in biotechnology, and not because the region was an early adopter, but because it is a global leader. 5 of the 10 most important countries, biotechnologically speaking, are in the region. Corn, soybean, cotton, other crops are already using GMOs, and in some cases most of the production uses this approach. But the key element is what the use of biotechnology means. Using biotechnology means a change in the rationale for the production of plant biomass, a different way of working with the markets upstream and downstream, with the research systems, knowledge development systems, and we can see that where we have the scientific and technological capabilities, we see local developments in important areas, taking into account the challenges of the future. We are talking about important crops such as soybean, wheat, sugarcane, potato, and bio inputs. And in the case of limitations, where we can see water use limitations, water scarcity, and we all know what has happened with wheat. And a key point for the future is the evolution of the regulatory frameworks. The region has been an innovator for regulations related to GMOs, and it's also an early adopter for gene edition, which is likely the future, the technology of the future when we talk about bioeconomy. With this, we are able to say that bioeconomy has already started moving along its path in the region in general. And in countries such as Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, and Paraguay, the ones that are closer to us, this is a platform for the future, a very important one we shouldn't underestimate. Just like another example of what is going on is what this venue means, this meeting means. We are talking about carbon efficient economies. We have it in the theme of this meeting. The next step is, what do we do with this in a world where carbon is increasingly becoming one of the most important commodities? Carbon is key for economy as a whole, and for life, but for the economy, of course. And the challenge of the future is, how do we change the carbon foundation? And in this region, we are moving towards becoming carbon efficient. The next step is to use that efficiency downstream, adding value to this first step or stage. I'm not going to talk at length about this now. When talking about policies, Jan mentioned that in all regions, some countries are working in the area of policies, the ones we see on the screen. Argentina, Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia, different stages of development. Some of them already have strategies that have been passed by parliaments, and they are now being deployed. The implementation processes will be complex. Many issues have to be solved. In the issue of governance, especially, we're working in a new world with the governance frameworks of the old world. There are many conflicts everywhere. This transition will not be an easy one, and we have to work on this. We have already started working on this 3 weeks ago, when in Buenos Aires the international meeting on applied bioeconomy was held. This meeting has been taking place for 27 years in a row. The Latin America Bioeconomy Network was created to discuss these issues, measurements, metrics, how to create consensus about how we create the new institutionality, the new institutional approach, so as to make the most out of the bioeconomy to foster the development in the region, but also to improve our institutional presence in this new world that is being developed, taking to face the global challenges of food security and others. And in these areas, the region has a key role to play. Some areas where work is already being done, green chemistry, undertakings to add value. In this city, we see clear examples: fossil inputs, replacements, the movement towards a circular approach, and several areas are discussing the use of natural principles, nature positive principles, even in areas such as the construction industry and the city planning actions. The future, well, this is an example of Argentina, but I'm certain Roberto and Fernando will talk about this in the next panel, so I'm not going to tackle it. The future. A lot of progress has been done, but there is still a way to go. We must fully adopt the development vision, and we should turn it into a policy vision. We are still not fully included in the policy discussions. In some cases, we have a lot to offer to the policies. Argentina has a specific development model based on land use. In our country, we can see that the development model we have been developing throughout the last 70 or 80 years has turned into an unbalanced land system with urban areas which have become belts of poverty, with a dim future regarding the opportunities to be found. Tomorrow, I'm sure Marcelo will talk about this, about land and territories, but I believe the bioeconomy may make a big contribution to political discussions, policy discussion. Knowledge management, we invest too little. We talk about biodiversity and research in biodiversity. The research is being done in OECD countries. How are we going to make the most out of biodiversity if we don't invest? We have the resources, but we don't invest in research and knowledge. Some countries invest 0.5% in this region, whereas Other countries invest almost 10%. Israel is the best example of what may be done if investments are made in knowledge and research. And of course, institutions and policies, we're just starting this discussion. And these are the themes of the future. We have to work in these areas. So this is what I had to share with you. Thank you very much.
Lo que hemos visto hasta
Thank you, Eduardo. Up to now, we have heard that globally there is a demand and a requirement, and in many countries there are already definitions, and society and politics ask bioeconomy to be given more, to be attached more importance, but the speakers have talked about some obstacles posed by fossil-based economy, so the transition is not that easy. But in many countries, such as you said, not much is being done. But this poses an opportunity for our region so that we might become early adopters. I have lost my list of questions. The first question is, which are the strengths of Argentina in the area of bioeconomy? Eduardo? I need brief answers. Which are the opportunities or strengths? All of them. All of them. Because I receive several newsletters, weekly ones, coming from the US mostly, and they describe what is happening at the markets level, that is, the products that are being launched that might become part of bioeconomy, and all products are actually an opportunity for Argentina, and we are quite well positioned because we have a wide resources diversity. So we have the basic resources, the raw materials, and we also have the industrial elements, or also have the capability of producing biomass. And the examples, we can see the examples here. All the innovations, once we have a main innovation cropping up elsewhere, it was quickly adopted or developed in Argentina. And much before we started talking about bioeconomy. Before we had bioeconomy, Argentina was already well positioned, bioenergy and agricultural biotechnology. And now we can find, or we may identify, many small projects which, without any support or promotion, grow and become strong and consolidated. We have a long list here, and I am certain that Roberto and Fernando will mention these examples. And this is a complex question for both speakers. But Eduardo, you could start. Which innovations should be introduced in organizations? Well, I would say that the most important innovation is related to managing the integration with the world of knowledge, with processes that pose some risk and have more variability than the processes of the previous world, so to say, based on industrial chemistry. But basically, it's the link to the world of knowledge as a key input for the new economic model. please be brief because we have gone beyond our time. I believe that the most important thing is this link, this relationship with several sectors. I would also say the link to consumers and society, because there isn't a clear vision and clear knowledge of what bioeconomy means. People are not fully aware of it, and also in politics, only some ministries are promoting bioeconomy, but it's not something widespread yet. So in the area of politics, we have to do some lobbying activities so that everybody will understand the full power of this. So we have gone beyond our allocated time. So maybe we can keep the questions for the next panel. So let's thank Jochen and Eduardo for their presentations.
En Argentina existen 2.000 empresas habilitadas para comercializar insumos para el agro. Más de la mitad operan en AgriRed, el único mercado B2B donde las mejores compañías del sector compran y venden insumos en forma ágil y eficiente, en donde ya se concretaron más de 4.000 operaciones y en un monto que supera los 150 millones de dólares. El campo cambió y multiplicó su rendimiento. El mercado de insumos también cambió y ahora se llama AgriRed.